Good morning. Welcome to the Premium Public Video Forecast discussion. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Just a few little notes before we begin. First, if you could like, share, and subscribe this YouTube channel, it really helps quite a bit and allows us to grow, so I really appreciate it. Also, if you're interested in more detailed information that I provide every day throughout the year, definitely check out Premium Consulting Membership. This is our premium dashboard where we go over all of the different factors involving the weather, from seasonal to tropical conditions, pretty much everything. Plus, you also get your questions answered when you aren't sure about a forecast or you need to know about an upcoming party. It's only $15 a month. Well worth it. And also provides a chance for you to talk to me whenever you want, right? So that's always pretty cool. Now let's dive into some of the topics for this week. Our La Nina is slowly developing, but it is not established yet. It's not impacting the pattern all that much just yet, with a robust subtropical jet stream as we discussed on the Wednesday chat. Meanwhile, our negative PDO took a hit, but is starting to cool once again. So there is some lingering impacts on that. And when you have a negative PDO in the summer months, you tend to get a trough here and a trough here. And usually you can build a nice Western Atlantic ridge. But we're also starting to see changes in the wavelength because we're moving into fall as we end summer. And so that position of the trough with our MJO moving into a phase 2, 3, and 4 sets up right on the East Coast. And that is essentially what we're seeing in all of the model guidance here. So when we take a look at the operational guidance, again, there is our Hurricane Ernesto. So it's lifting away. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And you can see we have our first trough that protects us. As I said a couple of weeks ago, the pattern shift with the trough axis more towards the East Coast is going to protect the East Coast from a lot of these storms. Perhaps not all of them, but a good amount of these tropical low pressure systems that are going to be developing over the next 45 days. And, we are moving towards the heart of the hurricane season, so I would not be surprised if we see a significant uptick in activity. So this trough is going to protect us and also keep us pretty seasonable, slightly below normal to slightly above normal temperatures over the next 15 days. And it is because that trough axis continues to shift towards the coast. So that doesn't mean the Western Atlantic ridge is going to collapse. It just means that it's going to be displaced a little bit more to the east over the Western Atlantic. So that's keeping a lot of the deep tropical moisture that we've been dealing with away from the region. You can see that here on the GFS as well. And on the European ensembles, that theme continues to show up very, very nicely. So what does this mean for us? Well, it means cold fronts are going to be able to move through a little bit faster, a little bit more of an influence from polar air masses. We'll continue to see temperatures at times jump back up into the mid to upper 80s, but I think prolonged 90-degree temperature is nearly at an end, at least over the next 15 to 30 days. Could we see a burst of heat in mid-September or early October? Sure, that is certainly within the realm of possibility. When you're dealing with a developing La Nina, you have the increased potential for a more of a southeast ridge and get that surge of warmer air. But of course, there's also that question of, does La Nina get established not only with the sea surface temperatures, but also the atmospheric forcing? Because as long as you have a robust subtropical jet stream, like you have this feature showing up right here, well, things could always get a little bit more interesting than what some long-range guidance suggests. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that evolution. Meanwhile, here's Ernesto. Now, Ernesto was expected to become a major hurricane, but that is no longer a potential. Why? Because when Ernesto was at a area of supporting intensification, the atmosphere was supportive of it. Dry air, that pesky little dry air, got into the low pressure system and short circuited the intensification process. It basically ran into a wall late last night, hasn't intensified since. And now the southwesterly shear is starting to increase. Why? Because the polar jet stream is starting to entrain Ernesto into the pattern. So you're already starting to see that influence here. Notice how you're seeing a lot of convection getting ripped off to the northeast. And notice your deepest convection within the central dense overcast is now all focused on to the east side of the storm, as dry air and shear is impeding the development of the eye wall and just basically tearing apart this storm. So I think that we've pretty much seen the peak. We may add another 5 miles per hour before it reaches Bermuda here, but for the most part, it's pretty much peaked. So we're talking about a category 2 hurricane moving through Bermuda over the next 24 hours. Hopefully, it looks like it might just pass just to the southeast of the island as far as the eye wall. So we'll see how that works out, but it's certainly very stormy conditions in that part of the world. And we're seeing this influence because you can see right here on the upper level winds. First of all, notice this feature here. You see this little signal here? What is this telling me? Normally, when you have a developing low pressure system, a developing tropical low pressure system, you have an anticyclonic circulation that develops over it to allow for the transport out of the precipitable water of the latent heat release, right? So while that process develops, you need for the low pressure system to be vertically stacked. This tells me that the low pressure system is not vertically stacked. And what you're getting instead is this displacement from the low level center to the northeast and the upper level center. So when you have this displacement, that pretty much tells me that, hey, look, it's going to be very difficult for Ernesto to strengthen anymore. Again, maybe adding another 5 miles per hour via observations, if that. Other than that, the signs are all there. The trough is picking up Ernesto and it is heading out into the northern Atlantic. The influence of the latent heat and the tropical moisture from the storm will intensify this low pressure system, cut off the smoke transport that we've been dealing with, which I'll show in just a moment, and send this storm out in the Atlantic. And in the meantime, intensify this upper level low in the Canadian Maritimes and allow for this trough to also deepen, this ridge to get displaced into Quebec. This low pressure feature shifts towards Newfoundland, and you end up with this trough diving into the northern Atlantic, setting up the potential for scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout this entire weekend. So, on our latest observations, you can see it's pretty quiet. High pressure's in control. We have winds coming in from the north and northwest around 5 miles per hour, very light winds, temperatures ranging from the lower to mid 60s over the northern interior, upper 60s to lower 70s in your suburbs, lower to mid 70s in your urban areas. Yeah, not too bad with the humidity overall. On the WeatherTap surface map and radar, you can see high pressure is in control for now, but as that high pressure departs, clouds will increase. We'll start to see these showers push into the region later this evening. Most of that is not going to reach the ground because we have a lot of dry air in the mid and lower levels, but as we move on through tonight into tomorrow morning, these scattered showers will slowly approach the region as this warm front lifts towards the area, followed by the cold front the next day. But take a look at what we're dealing with right now. A lot of haze, right? What is this? This is Canadian smoke, unfortunately, with that northwesterly flow aloft. So you might smell a little bit more of the smoke in the air, a little bit hickory, I guess you could say, and also it's going to impact some people who suffer from sinuses and headaches, unfortunately. But the good news is that this will all be clearing out soon. Okay, but unfortunately for today, we're going to have that hazy sunshine with some of that smoke in the air. Thank you, Canada, very much. So as you can see on the infrared satellite picture, there's Ernesto lifting away. Here comes our next area of unsettled weather, the warm front initially. This is the 850 millibar front. This is the surface warm front. And back here is the cold front. So the 850 millibar warm front will approach our region first with increasing cloud cover, and then the surface warm front will start to move through tomorrow very slowly with the threat for scattered showers. On the water vapor satellite picture, you can see one trough departing. We have the little ridge axis passing through, shortwave ridge axis passing through between these two upper level lows. This will kick Ernesto out, and this one will come in and set up an unstable and unsettled weather pattern over the next several days. Now, why doesn't the cold front just clear through and we end up with clearing skies on Sunday evening? Well, this upper level low and trough basically gets locked into the west of us and causes the cold front to stall out and drift on Sunday and Monday, and that's going to keep the threat for scattered showers in the forecast. Again, I'm not looking at a washout here, but if you get hit with one of these showers, well, it could produce some heavy downpours. So for today, again, there's our short rate. There's that ridge, a shortwave ridge. Here comes the trough moving through. And Saturday evening, again, we have these scattered unorganized PVA and some weak frontal genesis is going to support those scattered showers. The cold front approaches, and notice the trough does not move through the region over the next 90 hours. It stays to the west. So what you end up with is this southwesterly flow aloft, sending waves of weak PVA and frontal genesis with the cold front, but the cold front doesn't move through. In fact, take a look at the upper level winds, remain from the southwest, not overly strong. Moisture transport remains high, around 2 inches or so. In terms of CAPE, we're not looking at a lot of CAPE for tomorrow or Sunday or even Monday. So ranging anywhere between 400 joules per kilogram to maybe 1200 joules per kilogram. So what does this tell me? Well, this tells me that you're going to have a lot of elevated thunderstorms if they do develop, a lot of scattered showers, some heavier downpours with those showers, but not a complete washout. And you could tell that also with the 700 millibar relative humidity. There's the warm front. Notice we have a lot of patches here of lighter colors, which means lower humidity at 700 millibars. So this tells me you have a lot of scattered precipitation in here. And in terms of the 850 millibar temperatures, not seeing much in the way of a cold air transport until we get all the way into Tuesday. So that again tells me the cold front basically stalls out until we get to Tuesday, where we start to see some clearing out of the conditions. So on the latest NAM model guidance, this is for mesoscale data again, more of a scattered nature to some of these showers and thunderstorms, the potential for some heavier downpours here and there. But we don't have like a strong line of thunderstorms here, just a lot of scattered precipitation. So if you have plans for this weekend, I would say be prepared for some showers. If you're having a barbecue or something like that, be prepared for a few passing showers. It's not going to be raining all day. Certainly not a washout for the weekend, but it's not exactly going to be dry either. So marching through this forecast for today, scattered cloud cover, hazy sunshine with some of that smoke. Look for high temperatures ranging from the lower to mid 80s over the northern interior and along the coast, mid to upper 80s in the Delaware River Valley. For tonight into tomorrow morning, increasing cloud cover, a few showers possible towards morning with low temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. Tomorrow afternoon, variable cloud cover, a few scattered showers. Your best potential looks to be over eastern Pennsylvania for showers. Look for high temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 70s over the northern interior, upper 70s to lower 80s along the coast, and mid to upper 80s in the Delaware River Valley. On Sunday, the cold front approaches but stalls out with a few scattered showers, a few isolated thunderstorms. Not a washout, but certainly a bit of a nuisance. Also, with Ernesto passing well off the coast, there could be some strong riptides here, so use some caution if you're heading out to the beach and heading to some waters. Some people just love to go, even if it's going to possibly rain. So I'm just going to put it out there. If you're going in the waters, use caution. So look for temperatures on Sunday to range from the mid to upper 60s over the northern interior, upper 60s to lower 70s along the coast for lows. High temperatures in the lower to mid 70s over the northern interior, upper 70s to lower 80s along the coast. On Monday, the cold front remains stalled over the region with variable cloud cover and scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms. Look for low temperatures in the mid to upper 60s over the northern interior, upper 60s to lower 70s along the coast. High temperatures range from the upper 70s to lower 80s over the northern interior, lower to mid 80s along the coast. On Tuesday, the cold front clears out with a few lingering showers, capable of a brief heavy downpour or two, but clearing skies towards the evening. Look for low temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s over the northern interior, mid to upper 60s along the coast. High temperatures in the lower to mid 70s over the northern interior, mid to upper 70s along the coast. On Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, high pressure will be in control with tranquil weather conditions, very comfortable conditions with a pure polar air mass in place. When I mean polar, I mean that the air mass originates from Canada rather than the Gulf Coast. So that's when we call it polar. That doesn't mean that it is cold, like as if it's in the 40s. It just means that the origin is from Canada. I get that question a lot, so I figured I'd touch on that. Look for low temperatures through the period in lower to mid 50s over the northern interior, upper 50s to lower 60s along the coast. High temperatures in the lower to mid 70s over the northern interior, mid to upper 70s along the coast, and upper 70s to lower 80s in the Delaware River Valley. That is your forecast discussion for today. Have a wonderful day and a great weekend. And as always, stay safe out there.